What's good, everybody? What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Johnny Finesse. Welcome back to the channel. I don't know if this is going to be copyrighted because I think I got copyrighted by them before, but it's by Vice. What's it like to be a kid in prison, raised in the system? If you're new to the channel and have a subject, make sure you hit that sub button. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit that like button too. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? 6-minute video. Virginia.
This building we're in right
Bonaire.
now was actually built in the mid 19th.
He looked like that he looked like that guy from Battlefield. I forgot his name, but I know he's an actor and shit.
People were starting to respond to youth crime with adult consequences, and people were describing kids as juvenile super predators. And so they were building adult-like facilities like this
For
part
kids.
of the Bonaire campus because they thought that was the right way to respond to kids. And what they forgot was they were kids.
Nah, this stream deck is kind of fire. I bought this shit on my phone.
How y'all doing today?
Couldn't lie.
So how'd you get into acting, bro? Like, how did that come up? Actually,
See, I knew it. He's an actor. He was on Battlefield. He was on Battlefield 2. Like, he was on 3. And I think he was on 4. No, he was on 4. And then he was in another one.
so how'd you get into acting, bro? Like, how did that come up? Actually,
I used to be a background dancer. After I got cut in my face on my 25th birthday, like directors and photographers was like, they found the scar striking, I guess.
What would you saw yourself when you was like 15, 16?
I was clueless. The drugs were already like starting to plague me. I didn't think I would live to see.
These guys in jail, they don't even look like they belong in jail. You peep that shit? They don't even look like they belong in jail, but you never know. You did never know.
The drugs were already like starting to plague me. I didn't think I would live to see 30.
That's the life. That's the world we live in now, man. It's crazy sad, man. How long you been?
2 years in jail.
I gotta do a long time. My charges are 2 accounts of
50-year sentence at 15. What the fuck did this nigga do? What did he do, bro? That's crazy. 50-year sentence at
My
15.
charges are 2 accounts of second-degree murder.
Oh, you killed somebody.
One account
Damn.
of malicious wounding. I was just young, man. I was real young.
And then the courts don't even see it like that. They don't get to know your whole background. They just care about the crime you did and not why you did it. But it's always a reason for everything.
Yeah, it's facts, though.
How did we come to this decision to treat mistakes that an adolescent made with adult repercussions?
People were getting elected and running for office at the expense.
Nah, 50 years is dead crazy to me, though. Like, 50 years? 50 years? Like, life is over. I might kill myself in there. I ain't gonna lie. I might kill myself. I ain't gonna lie.
People were getting elected and running for office at the expense of kids in the system, and they were judging kids too much by what they were doing rather than who they were and the circumstance they were in and their age. When I became the director, all we had left in Virginia were 2 facilities that were like this. Not only were they built in the wrong way and too big, but they're also miles away from where a lot of the kids come from. So you can't do the underlying work you need to do to make sure they go home to a better situation.
Family matters.
Exactly.
They're not gonna do that.
And the other thing about places like this is that they eat up.
See, the thing about the jail system, too, I don't know, but I think they be getting money off of them being in jail. You feel me? They get money from them being in jail. Like, I don't know. Don't quote me on it. You can look it up yourself. I think, like, state gets more bread when more people are in jail. I ain't gonna lie.
Family matters.
Exactly. And the other thing
I
about
ain't gonna
places
lie.
like this is that they eat up a lot of money. But we run probation offices across the state, so The kids in the facilities were fewer than 10% of the kids we worked with, but they were eating up 40% of our budget. And they were reoffending at very high rates when they got out. So we closed a facility that looks a lot like this earlier this year. So we're building treatment programs all over the state so that hopefully more and more kids can get what they need.
Before they
Wait,
get,
what?
So we have kids we worked with, but they were eating up 40% of our budget. And they were reoffending at very high rates when they got out. So we closed a facility that looks a lot like this earlier this year. So we're building treatment programs all over the state so that
Damn.
hopefully more and more kids can get what they need
Before they
when
get-
they
you
need
get
it,
here.
where they
So I was
get it.
wrong.
How much does it cost to house a kid in here?
Per kid today is north of $200,000 a kid per year, which is a huge amount of money.
Yes, sir.
And that's okay if you're spending it on the highest need, highest risk kids in the system to get them on the right track. But the thing is making sure that almost every kid is someplace else. And the only kids who are here are kids who there is no other place to safely work with them. I got here kind of on the heels of the recession and budget cuts, and a lot of the programs we used to have for kids here have been cut. So young people were spending way too much time in their rooms. Good work doesn't happen when they're in their room. Good work happens when they're out, engaging with staff, going to school, doing work. So we have made a big priority of expanding the programming here. We got to make sure they leave us better off when they got here.
That would be the goal. Can you tell me what life was like before you got incarcerated?
The hood I was living in, out Fredericksburg, Virginia, it's not too good of a neighborhood. So it was a lot of violence, a lot of gang stuff like that. You know how it be. You know, you from the street, you know how it be. So I had to fight to make it. I mean, if I didn't, then I mean,
You'd probably
either
be
the
dead.
predator or the prey. I did make a crime in that. I know I do gotta pay the price, but the cost, you know, we never thought it'd be the rest of my life. When I first got incarcerated, I was real mad and stuff. I didn't talk to anybody, you know. Eventually I got over like the situation and made the best of it.
So what are the things that you have gotten that's on a good note from being in here?
The resume I got, I done built up such talents and tools. Like, I've learned to strip floors, work the machines. I've learned to cut hair. With
Sheesh.
The therapeutic portion of stuff we learn here too, slowing down and processing the situation and saying, man, I really didn't want to fight or anything like that. You just misunderstood what
He
I
look
was
like
doing,
Gunna.
and
I ain't gonna
apologize.
lie, he look like Gunna.
And I'm like, I ain't never seen that a day in my life.
Seen
on
that?
the streets.
Huh.
Do you really
Now my
think
shit don't
that-
work. Now my shit don't work at all. That's crazy. He look like Gunna.
That you just misunderstood what
He
I was
look like
doing.
Gunna.
I apologize. Like, and I'm like, I ain't never seen that a day in my life on the streets.
Do you really think that putting that much time on an adolescent is fair?
You know, kids are very different than adults, and we can't make life-altering decisions based on things that they do when they're young. It's not that they shouldn't be held accountable.
No,
it's not that there
that's not it
aren't
at all.
safety concerns we need to address.
Yes, sir.
But saying this is what the rest of your life looks like for somebody who did it at 15 is at odds with science, and it's kind of at odds with all the experience we're having with kids. You know, people often ask me about the kids who are here. They say, well, you're down to 200. Those must be the worst of the worst.
200.
You met them too.
Yes, I did.
And they're still kids with dreams, and they're still kids with talents, and they're still kids with hope and potential. If kids end up in a place like this, number one, it should be after we've exhausted all other opportunities. And number two, that from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed, they're doing something that matters to them, that's going to get their life in the right direction, and that we're doing all we can, you know, to keep hope alive.
It's kind of tough.